How's it going, everybody? Please excuse me. I sound like shit because I'm 198%. I have a cold, um, due from shoveling. But um, I wanted to talk about. Well, first off, great minds think alike. I know Melissa at I Drink the Seawater on YouTube, who's the inspiration for my channel. Um, she just came out with a video about this similar um, subject. Um, so, uh, I I even commented to her and said, great minds think alike. That was my idea for the future video, and I meant my next video. And she said, "Oh, make it anyways." So, um, yeah. So I wanted to talk about self thought, self talk. And what I mean by that is, it's a lot easier just to do something than think about it. This is why most people will say, think before you act. And what I mean is, when it comes to um, pretty much almost any situation, and it's an internal struggle and an internal battle, regardless. Um, but just for an example, like I had like these two freckles on the back of my hand that I noticed that I swear they weren't there before. Um, and because my other hand doesn't have them, it was messing with my OCD. So, not even thinking about when I used to cut and stuff, I proceeded to cut them off. And I apologize that this video may be triggering. I don't know. I try not to be graphic or anything, but I was bleeding, and I was sitting there. I'm like, well, I don't think I got it all the way. And then in my head, I'm thinking, get cut it off, cut it off, cut it off, cut. And then I sat there and I had to fight with myself and say, wait a minute, wait. And I started talking to myself and thinking to myself, like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? You're just gonna start hurting yourself more. It's gonna get worse. You can't do this. You can't do it's an internal struggle and battle. That can be said with. You can use the same thing when it comes to your anxiety or OCD, but I mean it's a disorder. Like OCD is disorders, and you're it's like using a it's like using an engine that is different from everybody else's, and you want it to work a certain way, but the parts are just it's made to work the opposite, and you can alter it and try to alter it, but I mean it's maybe it's a bad example, but I don't know if you know what I mean. Like it's not hearing voices in your head. It's just it's not your conscious. You it's just an internal struggle, and it's really hard. But it can help at times. Sometimes it's worse. Sometimes it's easier. Um, when I start having tics and stuff, and someone I'll be at work or whatever, and someone will let me know, like you're shaking or your hands doing this or that, and I don't even realize it. I sit there and I talk to myself. Okay, I don't want to freak out little kids, and you shouldn't care what people think. But if you're in a situation where you have to, you're dealing with like, little kids that don't understand, and you don't have the time to talk to them, and they're really young. You just don't want to come across, you know, creepy or scary or whatever. So it's kind of a gray area. But if you sit there and just try to think, okay, I'm going to do this to avoid this, or I'm going to think before I act. I'm going to. It works with everything. I mean, not all the time, but it helps with depression. Clinical depression. Like what I have is, I'll sit there and feel like shit, and I'll sit there and think to myself, and if I'm alone, talk to myself. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling this way? I can't control this. It's just the way your brain is. It's not your fault. It's an imbalance. Why are you really depressed today? And you sit there and think, or you'll write down, which helps. And there's no reason. It's just the way you are, and that's what makes you you. But at the same time, if you sit there and just focus and not try to focus on something that'll take your mind off of it, you're just gonna drive yourself crazy. So just try to think to yourself, talk to yourself, because it really does help. I had a situation where a woman for 2 years, she would come into where I work, and she was always extremely rude. I've gotten complaints from everybody that's worked there for the last 2+ years, multiple complaints from a majority of them, and I've seen it myself. But I always missed her. I was always too late to try to talk to her. Um, so finally, she was around, and I found out. I got complaints that she was back because I had not seen her for, I think, a couple of months, and I was like, oh, okay, oh, okay, so it's her. Okay, finally. So I went upstairs and I sat down and thought and thought and thought and thought and talked to myself. I said, what am I going to say to her? Because I just don't want to act and just blur out and just be rude and just blah, blah. Regardless if she may have been rude, you have to be professional in certain situations. If I wasn't at work, I'm not saying I would have just gone off on her, but I would have still tried to talk to her, have an adult conversation, because I don't know if she has issues. I don't know if she has struggles she's going through. I don't know. So I thought of everything I wanted to say. I wrote it out, kind of memorized it a little bit. It wasn't that long, and I waited for my opportunity to talk to her as she was leaving, and so I pulled her aside, and what I was going to say to her was, look, I'm don't mean to bother you, but I just want to talk to you and have an adult conversation that and let you know that I've gotten multiple complaints over the last 2+ years that you have been extremely rude to my staff members over and over again. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but I please ask that you work on it. If you intend to come back here. And before I think on the seventh word of the beginning of that, of what I just said, she cut me off before I could even get in any detail and said, see ya, and started walking away. And then my reaction, instead of thinking, was I didn't yell or anything, but I said, okay, well, I was just trying to have an adult conversation with you. I guess we won't see you here again. Have a great night. And she walked out the door. So, things aren't always going to go the way you want them to go, but as long as you try, at least you can say that you tried. So, think to yourself, talk to yourself, and if you're going to talk to yourself in public, try to do it very quietly, or else you could get off the wrong idea. And but I've had people that I work with all the time say, "Are you talking to me?" And I'm like, "No, I was talking to myself. I'm trying to figure out something over here, to deal with a work-related issue." But anyways, yeah, try. I mean, with OCD, it's to me it's a lot harder because it's uh, I'll rearrange things or put them where they should be when I'm at work or wherever I am, and uh, I'll do it a couple times. Okay, this needs, I'll constantly do it, and I sit there and think like, okay, you need to stop, you need to stop. And it's hard because it's you don't want to, but it's just the way that you're wired. But if you distract yourself and talk to yourself, or think to yourself, and try to write to yourself, it it'll throw the focus off it, and it has helped a little bit. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope whether you celebrate the holidays or not, I hope this weekend's great for you guys. Um, Thank you to my thousands of My 30 subscribers, it's fine. I don't care if it was even 2. I appreciate you guys um, um, subscribing and looking at how things have been with me. This year has not been great. I'm hoping next year will be better. Um, but I hope this weekend goes great for you guys. And Melissa, I hope you have a great holiday if you celebrate, or your weekend is just great in general. And I hope you're doing well. And to all my viewers, I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Send me a message in the About Us section. If you like the video, thumbs up. If not, thumbs down. But I hope you all are doing well, and I'll talk to you later. And happy holidays.